Hello and welcome to Thought for the Day. A massive change has occurred in my life recently. After 40 years of teaching, I've retired. And for those of you who still work, who are thinking how wonderful not having to get up every day and go out to work, all that free time, let me tell you, it's not all it's cracked up to be. Restructuring your life, repurposing your time is a challenge. And I realise that I've lost my status in society as teacher. I've lost my status as salary earner. And whilst I can truly say that social status is not something I'm concerned with, I feel that generally getting older means that other people are beginning to treat me differently, and not in a good way. I see this even more in the way my mother is treated. She's 92 but still sharp as a tack. If the students on University Challenge get the classical music or literature answers before her, she's mortified. But when I'm out with her, I see others behaving towards her as if she's a child. They speak to her through me, as if she has no agency of herself anymore. Being a very old woman has little status in our world. And whilst people are generally very kind and helpful, they tend to be quite charitable in the way they deliver this help. They're acknowledging the power they have to make things happen for her as someone who has no status or power of her own. I think that's quite demeaning. It's probably something you have to experience for yourself to fully appreciate. If you're a woman, you're more likely to have experienced it. If you work in a very structured organisation, you're more likely to have experienced it. That power that people above you in the organisation have over you. The power to make your life easier or more difficult. The power to make you feel good about your contributions or not. The power to bully you even. When I was working, I was very aware of these powers. The power one person has over the lives of others through their job. I worked with young people with learning difficulties and their families. In our society, power is very much linked with status, and status comes from what we as a society believe to be important. So, wealth and earning power, owning our own home, health, physical ability, intellectual ability, celebrity, all determine your status and importance. All the things that people with learning difficulties don't have. So their families have to fight for them. Fight a system that has insufficient resources to give everyone what they need. And if you're seen as being worth less, then you have to fight even harder for your share of the resources. And I think older people also fall into this group. Getting older is making me increasingly aware of the importance of social power in our society, of just how stratified our society still is. Most people want to identify with those who have higher status. On meeting a famous person, what's the first thing most people will think these days? I must get a selfie with them and show it off to all my acquaintances on social media. We feel the need to identify up the status ladder. And this reflects the importance we give to status. And getting older is making me very aware of how different the society we live in is to the kingdom of God that Jesus wants for us all. Jesus inverted the power structure of the society he lived in. He was the Son of God, God made human. When we're talking power and status, you can't get much greater than the power that created the universe, the King of Kings. But did he live in a palace? Did he conjure up lightning to strike down his enemies? Did he hang out with the rich and famous and beautiful? Did he aspire up to have greater status, more power, by identifying with the powerful ones? No, he identified down as low as he could get. He humbled himself. He was homeless. He touched lepers. He quieted storms. He sat and ate with the disenfranchised and the hated ones. He allowed himself to be crucified alongside criminals, the death of the lowest of the low. So here again we see that massive gulf between what our society teaches us on what the Gospels teach us. Our society says we must aspire upwards to greater status and greater power. And in the kingdom of God, we are shown that it is in identifying with those who are powerless, who have no status, that we make ourselves more like Jesus. In the kingdom of God, people with learning difficulties would be first in line to get what they need. The old and sick would be seen as still valuable and worthy members of society. I want to finish with a quote from Plato rather than the Gospels. The measure of a person is what they do with power. Whatever power you have, it's your duty as a Christian to use it for the good of the kingdom. Thank you.